whether you're from Vaucluse or, you know, Blacktown, it doesn't matter, because where you grew up shouldn't really be a defining barrier to where you end up in life, especially in a country like Australia.
So I came to Australia to do my PhD in sociology. I had a good life back in Ukraine, so it was more for upgrade than of necessity. I came to Australia very excited, you know, like I had this feeling that, oh, you know, the world is global and it's mine. Yeah, I think all migrants have this when they migrate.
I grew up under the night sky. My dad's a sailor, so I grew up being taught about all the different constellations and things like that.
Oh, the creek's all dried up.
I really like my forest, and I don't get this at all in Sydney. Now my dreams are about cube rider. Now my partner wakes me up in the middle of the night telling me to stop pitching in my sleep. It's a 24-hour-a-day job having a startup, which is good. But what I'm working towards with the company, with Cube Rider, is getting the company sustainable, getting the company really strong. It's not as much about my own personal finances. I do it because I'm passionate about the cause. I really believe in what we're doing, not in the hopes of becoming filthy rich.
Don't forget your lunch.
See you guys.
Have a good day.
I guess I should start off by saying that, you know, I'm not from a rich area. I'm not from any of the upper class places around Sydney or Australia.
There you go.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The native beast in her natural habitat. If you get too close, she will attack.
With the view to make the first steps to take their companies global, our teams head to the US to meet investors, mentors, and pitch their ideas.
There's an element of society, unfortunately something that has been part of Australian society for some time, where when people actually say they want to go and make a difference, they get knocked down a peg. And that's one of the reasons that I went over to America, because when I said I wanted to change things here, people shushed me. And when I went over there, they built me up and gave me a lot of energy and confidence, and it was transformative.
Well, you walk faster than this normally.
Yeah, but I'm just...
You're deliberately doing it.
Because I know we're not going to be late. We're not going to miss the flight. It's going to be fine. Gates 24, turn left.
I'm really excited about the US trip, and I think it's going to be great. This little box is going to be my first ever thing sent to space.
Okay, what's that?
If we can't do that, we can't be a space company, essentially. The rocket will launch, and once the rocket launches, we'll be able to start getting data back from it, and we'll be able to finally, for once and for all, prove our concept. And after the launch, I think it'll just be bolstered even more. We'll have even more credibility, and I think we'll actually be able to change the world.
You hear a lot of people talking about, oh, change the world, and every company is changing the world. And, you know, in some sort of ways, they are. And a lot of them are doing it in ways that seem fairly mundane or not terribly compelling. But there are also some that are actually doing it in a very profound way. And that's what I look for in these companies. How do you want to make things different? How will you look back on your life and say, here's how I found the world, and these things bothered me, and I tried to change them.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's your flight?
Long. But I'm guessing it was long for you guys as well. Yeah, we're here now. It's great. We're in America. I've never been. It's awesome.
Startup to Australia means 3 people hanging out, maybe in a co-working space, working on a project.
I am so keen for this road trip. You're National Lampoon's Startup Vacation.
It's also the only way to actually start the most impactful organizations in the world. You know, it's how Apple started, it's how Tesla started, it's how Uber started, it's how Airbnb started. A few people hanging out, looking a little bit disheveled in a whatever space they could get their hands on.
This is interesting. I want to go explore it, but we're on the same road and we can't really change from it. But
You're not
not know Seb? He was an expert on America before he got here.
I was not an expert on America.
Tell me about the American political system, Seb.
Oh, if you want me to talk about the American political system, I'm very political.
In most businesses, it's a good idea to keep your personal political views away.
I have an idea. Business is business. If you don't want to do business with someone because of their political inclination, that's a loss on your part.
No, but
it is.
Like, are you arguing for the sake of arguing, or do you literally not understand the side that we're coming from?
Me and Seb do have key differences in the way that we approach social settings and what we deem to be appropriate and inappropriate, or professional, unprofessional. Maybe I'm a little bit on the conservative side. I'm not sure.
You know, money is money, and if you can't agree with someone on their political views, and because of that you don't want to make money with them or enter into a profitable venture, then you're an idiot, you know?
It's a generally accepted view that you just don't share your personal, political, or religious views.
I'm also smart. I wouldn't do that with a client as well.
Now we're backtracking.
Exactly. I'm not backtracking. I'm saying. Okay, so when you're talking to it,
I think you are backtracking a little bit here, dude.
Isn't that funny?
Well, you know, there's always disagreements in any business, and in a startup, it's probably the hardest place to be, and even harder going through an accelerator program, because any emotion, any feelings tend to be accelerated as well. So I came in as a CTO and a full-stack developer in our little foxes. So we wanted to see how we could use technology to kind of expand the experience for our customers, from selling boxes to creating a global community of creatively intelligent children.
are you coding?
Yeah. Sure. Got a demo to do.
Always coding. We've got a 2-minute pitch and a 5-minute demo, okay?
Yeah.
Tech giant Braintree have invited our teams into their Silicon Valley offices. Braintree process payments for companies like Uber, and they processed over $50 billion in transactions last year.
Been working with these startups quite closely and felt it was important to give them a friendly face when they got to San Francisco. Importantly, give them access to some of our wonderful staff who've got many years of experience and ensure that they were able to have access to them as well.
The teams are given yet another chance to informally practice their pitches.
Startup stay, Braintree people move, we'll make some noise every 15 minutes. So if we can get stuck into it, let's go.
We aim at helping food businesses.
Goes through and does the Cube Rider space program.
It wasn't super clear to me what the problem statement was up front, so if you want to start with that to really set the scene for them, that might be helpful. Yeah.
San Francisco and Valley is the land of the pitch. You get pitched to in an elevator, you get pitched to in a bar, you can pitch in a coffee line. It is just a wonderful place where you get to learn how to put your product and service out there.
See, on demand is only one component, right?
I know, but
It's a good way to describe it.
But it's just that if you have on demand, then you can scale out from on demand.
Right? Like you want to follow people who are influencers in your field. You want to show you're smart about your field. Oh, you should hire me.
Annie had been preaching, it's like, you guys got to go to the Valley. It's a different place. You'll learn so much. And it suddenly all just makes absolute sense. People here are creating stuff. They're not like financial markets where they just make money out of thin air. They're funding people for growth of products, real stuff that people use every day. It just all makes sense.
This is giving us some perspective, and you don't, until you get on an aeroplane
And go to
go to China or go to Europe or go to the States, you can't imagine it.
To appreciate the tech centers of the world, you need to visit them. The most obvious are Silicon Valley, which is stretched into San Francisco. And you do need to see it to appreciate just how large scale small business growth is. It feels a bit surreal. The nice part is, though, you see people having a go, and it's got a lot of energy because of that.
The ultimate finished product of Mirror D is the pitch at demo night. And so The companies being here in the US and getting feedback is very important, and I want to help them develop their pitches here and how that's going to feed into the next 2 months.
This is Ben Sands.
Perhaps the biggest lesson that I learned spending 4 years in America, you know, there aren't really any rules, all right? If you can engage someone emotionally and you can excite them about what you're doing, then that's the only actual goalposts.
All right, well,
that way, right?
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah.
We're off to a pretty important meeting for us, probably our biggest one here in San Fran, meeting with the Global Digital Officer at McDonald's. We obviously have them as a client in Sydney at the moment, well, in Australia. Look, we're probably a little early to be going over there thinking that we're going to be, you know, setting up shop within the next couple of months or raising, you know, tens of millions of dollars from American VCs, but there's always a first step. 20,000 stores, mate. So it's pretty exciting, and hopefully it'll be a launch pad for us here in the US. You know, you've got to bring your A game if you're going to start competing over in that region. It's not just about setting up shop over there and crossing your fingers. You've got to really know what you're doing. Here we go. That's what the US can actually do sometimes. You know, you go over there and you can get a little bit intimidated by the size of everything, the activity of other startups within that region.
We reached out via email. Our business is Our Little Foxes. Our Little Foxes, oh, it's so cute.
And we just met Mark Nathan. He said, go and see Amelia, talk to her. Yeah, we had a big reality check.
So that's our little rocket photos.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's the one that we're developing right now.
These are one of our little boxes.
So yeah, pop-up play, they basically design it online and they deliver it to your door. It's like customizable pop-up play.
Yep, it's amazing. Our whole team actually, we like to have a lot of fun when we're doing stuff, but willingness and passion and fun won't get you all the way. You need to take a step back to push forward in the right direction. I feel like I've been questioning so much for the last 4 months, but we've been so busy that you don't really get time to sit and reflect. So the questions now are, how do we get it right? How do we not waste any more time? How do we now do all the stuff we've been learning about startup?
Sorry it's taken so long to finally get chatting about it all. I'm hoping it's positive and that we haven't delayed the negative for too long.
Our biggest showstopper at the moment would be getting rejected or not getting approved to fly either by the Australian government or by NASA or NanoRacks.
Okay, sure. So you guys have already met me. I run the internal payloads division here at NanoRacks. And Jerry Matthews here. He's one of our operations engineers. So he works down in our Houston office. So he actually has your module, and he's ready to give you guys some feedback on how the testing went, and then we can talk next steps.
Awesome.
NanoRacks, a company we're working with to send it into space, they actually have a lot of strict requirements. NASA and the International Space Station are all very strict because they don't want their, $100 billion asset being destroyed or being set on fire or whatever, any danger befalling it at all due to some Australian startup's little space box.
Excellent. Let it rip. Tell us.
All right. So I was able to access the files, but what I saw was that every 1 minute, the drive would drop off.
Okay.
We have another payload simulator hooked up on the USB hub right next to it. Since these two experiments are connected on the same USB hub, it was resetting the other payload as well. So we definitely can't have that. So we want to make sure that that power issue is looked at and solved.
Would it still be possible to make the June 24th launch?
And Mary, I'll let you handle that one.
He's going to let me be the bearer of bad news. I think at this point it's advisable that we look at the launch on the SpaceX 10.
I don't like it when things get delayed like that. I don't, we pushed really hard, but, I always try and look on the bright side. Be upset, but also, move on. We're going to be launching in November, which is still going to be awesome. We've still got all these pluses going for us and everything. And I guess that's a new goal now. Just meet that and try and beat that now.
A lot of our schools will be actually really happy about that because they're kind of freaking out at this point.
They're still programming away?
Yes, yes.
I'm personally bummed, but customers, I think, are going to be happy.
I can see you just
dying.
You're like going through, you're like inside, you're like, I just want to die right now.
There's a river there I just want to walk into and never come out of again right now.
On their last day in San Francisco, the teams get a rare opportunity to demonstrate their businesses to Silicon Valley bigwigs, with the hope of making even one connection that could open doors to the rest of the world.
We've got a demo tonight. Solange is doing that one today, and I hope she does a good job. I haven't seen her yet, so it'll be interesting to know. I haven't actually seen the demo yet. I should probably talk to her about that.
The fact that you've got stuff going on a rocket at the end of this year into space, locked in, is astounding.
For this clicker, you see a lot of times where the moment before the event, people just kind of lose it and then they kind of pull it back together. Solange was perhaps a bit underprepared compared to some of the other startups. I asked if she wanted to go and have a walk and talk through it, and I shared a stuff-up that I'd made, a pretty critical business mistake, and I think that, created a sort of instant kind of receptiveness. For her to actually go, I don't have to say that we've, done X, Y, and Z. I don't have to conform to any formula. What I have to do is care about the change that I want to make in the world and how this opportunity is something that I can leverage to get there. I knew that by intervening, I was taking a bit of a risk because whatever happened was sort of then going to be on me from that point. But I thought, well, I'm the kind of person who does that. I'll dive in and I'll really challenge them. And I don't always know that it's going to work out perfectly, but I know that if I don't do that, it's just going to sort of keep cruising in some sort of not great trajectory.
And you'll instantly be connected for a micro tutoring session for 15, 30 minutes.
It could have turned out many different ways. She could have just gone, not going on, or she could have got up there and froze.
All right, next up we've got Solange Kunin.
Or she could have got up there and something reasonable happened.
Hi everyone, my name's Solange and I'm the co-founder and CEO of CubeWriter. We're inspiring and educating thousands of high school students through our STEM education program by giving them the opportunity to have a space mission. We're the very first Australians to ever go to the International Space Station. It's the first time Australia's ever been involved. And we're actually the first Australian payload to go to space outside of a massive telco. We've got teachers saying that students are skipping their other classes to be part of our program. Students are skipping classes to learn how to code.
I think Solange sort of took a fresh approach to it, gave a completely different kind of pitch to everyone else.
We're preparing students for real world, but also inspiring them to think big and literally aim for the stars. Thank you. I was one of those people that this was my first time pitching, so thanks for being nice.
All right.
And certainly, you know, other bits need to be added to it, but the more important thing was that she spoke strongly and she spoke passionately, and she engaged people emotionally so that they're actually going to care about what CubeWriter is doing and want to support her and Seb to actually make it happen.